Or maybe it was you that was like, is Kendrick Lamar your biggest competition, like, in this generation or whatever? And I think that Kendrick has, like, the utmost potential, man. Like, I see Kendrick tomorrow, I'm going to dap him. I didn't feel a way about that verse.
Last Friday, longtime collaborators Metro Boomin and Future released their joint album, We Don't Trust You, with guest appearances from rap's Aristocracy. The reclusive Kendrick Lamar stole much of the album's spotlight, with disses directed at j.cole and Drake on track 6 of the album. With pointed bars, Lamar ended any possibility of sharing his crown within the Big Three mythology. A fuck with me if you want to warning shot that has required the eventual responses from Drake and j.cole.
These niggas talking out of their neck. Don't put no coughing out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat. Hey, let's get it, bro.
Will Kendrick's Like That verse finally give hip-hop fans the long overdue diss tracks between him and Drake? Or will j.cole finally affirm his presence in the Big Three mythology?
Kendrick don't care about none of these niggas. It is a facade. It is a trick.
Does this mean there'll never be a Kendrick and Cole album that everybody seems to think is happening?
I can't fathom being as great as Michael without putting out the work.
This man is his own man. I'm my own man.
He has a Pulitzer Prize now, by the way.
Prize.
Where are you at with a lot of the cats now, like the j.coles of the world or the Drakes of the world? Where are you guys at now?
Same place. It's all love.
As the Big Three debate continues, two members have been compared and contrasted the most. Presently, rivals Drake and Kendrick Lamar are at equal footing when it comes to cultural relevance and commercial success. But that wasn't the case 14 years ago. In 2009, Drake was rap's emerging darling, co-signed by another GOAT, Lil Wayne, and riding off the success of 3 mixtapes, Room for Improvement, Comeback Season, and So Far Gone. Kendrick Lamar, on the other hand, wasn't well known outside of the Los Angeles rap scene and hardcore hip-hop heads. The Compton native first used the stage name K-Dot and had been rapping and freestyling since high school. Under the stage name, he released 4 mixtapes from 2004 to 2009, switching to just Kendrick Lamar with his self-titled Kendrick Lamar EP that year. He signed to Top Dawg Entertainment in 2005. At the time, Top Dawg had no substantial presence in the rap game, and Kendrick Lamar was one of its first signees. Its stature dwarfed in comparison to that of Drake's affiliations, Young Money Entertainment and Cash Money Records. With this context, Lamar was an underdog in comparison to Drake, a sentiment hard to believe since Drake was a former child star from Toronto, Canada, with a white Jewish mother and an absentee African-American father. Despite this early apprehension and clowning of this identity, Drake defeated his critics and seduced hip-hop gatekeepers. So Far Gone lead singles Best I Ever Had and Successful charted well in the Billboard Hot 100. In 2009, Young Money's compilation album We Are Young Money spawned mega successful hits like Every Girl and Bedrock. Kendrick Lamar in 2009 reaped potential but was still finding his footing. Lamar's first mention of Drake in his discography was a 2009 verse from a track off the Kendrick Lamar EP, titled Determined. Determined was a bonus track on the EP, and the EP was his 5th project on their Top Dawg Entertainment.
My girl split bucket to KFC. She listening to Drake, and all I can say, damn, these niggas that much better than me, baby.
I don't think this is meant to be, cause I'm always losing self-esteem.
In the track, he raps about Drake's buzz from a place of insecurity. The storytelling in his verse is a nod to Kanye West's Touch the Sky. The track also has a bar about j.cole, highlighting Lamar has always been aware of his perceived competition. The two will eventually connect and establish a friendly working relationship, that is, Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Drake in his role of confidant due to success, and Lamar a mentee due to his rookie status in the game and still gearing up for his debut album. Drake is supportive of Kendrick Lamar during this time, support that Lamar finds sincere. On Drake's 2011 Take Care album, Kendrick Lamar is the sole rapper on track 7's Burial Live interlude, sharing his thoughts on fame and his perception of Drake.
Hit me on the cellular, thought he was gonna sell me a false word like the rappers I know. Sat down with a few drinks, located where you can't see us. A white waitress on standby when we need her.
But there is a shift impending that changes the dynamic of the two's relationship. That shift, Good Kid, Mad City.
Ici, au Mali, les griots, c'est le jelly. Le jelly, c'est le sang. Tu as vu, si quelqu'un n'a pas de sang, il meurt.
This is a dark movie album. I wanted to tap into that space where I was at in my teenage years. Everybody knows Kendrick Lamar, but he had to come from a certain place, a certain time, and certain experiences. I've been planning this for years. Everything was premeditated. I already knew what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted to convey. I had the album covered for years. I knew how I was going to use it and that it was the best description for what I was talking about in the album. It's a long time coming. Everything we dwell on is coming to light, Kendrick Lamar said in 2012 when discussing the themes of the Good Kid, Mad City album. While the album was his second attempt at solidifying his presence in the 2010s rap scene, it was the kickoff to his mainstream success. The project created numerous classics such as Swimming Pools, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Money Trees, and Backseat Freestyle. It established Kendrick Lamar as the rapper from the West Coast, and with a guest feature in Big Sean's Control verse a year later, marked his claim to rap's #1 spot. On their collab track Poetic Justice off the album, it was clear Lamar was no longer a rookie and standing on equal footing next to Drake. Kendrick Lamar received praise for his distinctive black identity, woven through complex bars, compared to Drake's awkward upbringing as a black Jewish kid who was routinely labeled as corny due to his sensitive bars about women. From the subliminal exchanges that followed after 2013, it was evident that Lamar and the culture thought that he was the better artist, leaving Drake vexed since he was winning commercially. Drake rolled out new music every year and remained at the top of the food chain that's known to have a high turnover, while Kendrick Lamar took long breaks and was selective of his features.
But if Drake and Kendrick Lamar got in a rap battle, who do you think would win?
Got to go with Kendrick. I'm just saying.
In a 2015 article for Complex magazine, Chris X shared his thoughts on Kendrick Lamar and Drake comparisons that were higher than 2013 when the two dropped major projects a month from each other. Drake with his mixtape If You're Reading This It's Too Late, and Lamar with his third studio album To Pimp a Butterfly. Where Butterfly is Oscar bait, Too Late is a tentpole blockbuster, packed with action sequence after action sequence. That Drake doesn't aim for any deep or large statements outside of himself is not a hindrance. Drake's true and overlooked talent has always been his ability to wrap the middle-class annoyances into the language and vestiges of the struggle. He's christened his home as the Six, and reimagining Toronto, long considered to be one of North America's safest big cities, as some sort of treacherous stomping ground. Both eras are crucial for the two men. Along with the Too Late mixtape, Drake and Future released a collaborative mixtape titled What a Time to Be Alive. It was impossible not to hear Drake at any club or social event. Hotline Bling was a huge summer hit, and the music video ushered in Drake's memification. Dating rumors circulate about his romance with tennis star Serena Williams. He finally won the respect of hardcore rap fans due to his beef with Meek Mill, cementing himself as a worthy lyricist with 2 diss tracks that weren't just street records, but solidified Billboard hits, Charged Up and Back to Back. Parallel to this, Kendrick Lamar was doing amazing with a jazz-infused, socially conscious album, Jazz Drill as it's been jokingly coined on X recently. He was successful commercially while not sacrificing his artistic identity for commercial success. To Pimp a Butterfly is regarded as the best album of the decade and arguably one of the best rap albums of all time. His experiences on trauma, poverty, and gun violence in Compton are reflective of America's racial tensions. Also timely considering the deaths of Eric Garner and Michael Brown, 2 unarmed black men killed by the police. After years of downplaying the competitive tensions in their relationship, things have somewhat escalated with Kendrick Lamar's most direct disses at Drake. Rapping in his Like That verse.
Motherfuck the big 3. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga, boom. What? I'm really like that. And your best work is a light pack. Nigga, Prince outlived Mike Jack. Nigga, boom. For all your dogs getting buried. That's a K with all these 9s. He gon' see Pet Cemetery, nigga. Boom.
Like in Atlanta, it's a lot of niggas who you really can't tell them Future ain't bigger than Drake.
I would say it's cap. Really?
Oh God, nigga.
With the increased commodification and saturation of hip-hop post the 2010s, rap superstars post-2020 are very unlikely. Even the most hype rappers who were initially picked as replacements to 2010s legends eventually fizzle out after 2 to 4 projects, or move to different lanes that garner them more commercial appeal, but never GOAT status within the culture. For example, Post Malone and Jack Harlow with their heavy Future and Drake influences. Post Malone has abandoned hip-hop after milking all the benefits related to rap and black culture. Jack Harlow is squarely in the rap pop lane, where he's found success with white fans despite being an average rapper and a mediocre version of Drake. With newer rappers unable to fill these superstar slots, and a lot of 2010s legends still active, rap's Big 3 is hip-hop's favorite lore, a mystical term used to describe the most influential rappers of the 2010s decade, a lore with a lot of revisionist history and a member whose placement is questionable. Taking in the cultural and commercial requirements of the Big 3, Nicki Minaj should hold the 3rd spot after Kendrick Lamar and Drake, but due to hip-hop's insidious misogyny and misogynoir, it's a selection the culture refuses to give her. What unique cultural relevance does J.Cole bring to the Big 3 that the others don't have? He can't be the middle-class, biracial kid abandoned by his black father because that's Drake's story. He can't be the conscious one because that's Kendrick Lamar's thing, and he does it better. And no, he's not as deep as his die-hard fans would like to claim. Lack of intelligence he readily admitted on his infamous 2020 diss track directed at No Name titled Snow on the Bluff. While Nicki Minaj's latest beef for rapper Megan Thee Stallion has seen her worst lyrical performance, she still unanimously owns the Queen of Rap title. Due to her well-established catalog, while Cole for much of the 2010s era resigned to the Browns' position within the Big Three narrative. The Hiss and Bigfoot moment is comparable to Pusha T's story of Adidon. Yes, a significant moment for the culture and an important timestamp in the legacy of all rappers involved, but too late in the game to cause severe commercial damage for the perceived Goliath in the fight. Drake dropped Scorpion a few weeks after the story of Adidon, and the song In My Feelings off the album went #1 on Billboard Hot 100 for 10 weeks. Nicki Minaj is currently on her world tour, which will most likely be the highest-selling female rap tour of all time. For more than a decade, Nicki Minaj has not only been a disruptor in rap's boys club, but the very white pop culture arena too, propelling the female rap market to peaks not just lyrically, but also commercially. Her debut studio album, Pink Friday, outsold Cole's debut Cold World, The Sideline Story, by a large margin. Minaj has charted over 100 times on the Billboard Hot 100, a feat Cole has not yet accomplished. Cole's recent and impressive features run, she has already done. A legendary run, consistently outshining men on the track with her. Something Drake even calls back to in their 2021 collaborative track with mentor Lil Wayne, titled Seeing Green.
Y'all boys get on the track with Onika Mirage and y'all still dying, man. What's up?
All this to say, j.cole is not a bad rapper or artist. He's one of 2010's standout legends with a catalog full of great work, such as Born Sinner, 2014 Forest Hills Drive, and For Your Eyes Only. Is he within the top 50 greatest rappers of all time? For sure. Top 10? Definitely not. A theory supported by Billboard and Vibe's 2023 joint list, which saw Lamar, Drake, and Minaj all in the top 10, with Cole in a lesser tier. Going further, does Cole even deserve the 4th spot when Future also exists? Kendrick Lamar's Like That verse wouldn't be possible without Metro Booming and Future's latest project. Through Gucci Mane's influence, his use of auto-tune hooks, and his 808's trap sound, Future made the South, particularly Atlanta, rap's new epicenter. He's consistent like Drake and maybe even more sensitive. His verses, a canon and mumble diary on his prolific drug use, and sordid adventures with lovers he deems as toxic rather than himself. Post-2020, and Future is still doing well commercially. So what does Like That mean for the culture, particularly the Big Three mythology? A lot of nothing and a whole lot of something, particularly how each moves forward. j.cole is preparing for the release of his latest project, ironically titled The Fall Off, so it's unlikely hip-hop fans will get a full diss track response from him. His retort is most likely on that project, and maybe a few shots thrown with upcoming features. While it's clear Drake and Kendrick Lamar had the most animosity with each other, with Cole the neutral friend, Lamar's paranoia is on high and no one is safe. Lamar starts his verse on Like That with,
"These niggas talking out of their neck. Don't put no coughing out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat."
Firstly taking aim at Drake and Cole's first-person shooter collab with an explicit reference to For All the Dogs, circling back to make sure it's known Cole is not safe either.
It's time for him to prove that he's a problem. Niggas clicking up, but cannot be legit, no 40 water.
Wordplay nod to the rap group The Click, and Lamar arguing his alleged competition can't go up against him one by one, but must click up to do any type of damage. Further antagonizing Cole's diplomatic stance in the Big Three narrative with this.
Lost too many soldiers not to play it safe. If he walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop the location. I still got PTSD. Motherfuck the Big Three. Nigga, it's just big me.
Ultimately, j.cole could have the best lyrical response considering how good he's been rapping, or maybe even Drake, but subliminal features from the three are not going to push the needle, and further diss tracks are needed, and at the current standing, we are far from that.
What is a griot? Who is a griot? A griot comes from ancient Africa.
Cause I got the world and I got my niggas like, what you gonna do, Cole?
Last weekend, during his headlining set for the Dreamville Festival, rapper j.cole expressed regret over his diss track, 7-Minute Drill. The track directed at Kendrick Lamar was removed from streaming platforms this weekend and shortened the Big Three to just the Big Two. Talk around Cole's apology has been rampant in the hip-hop community, with opinions decisive. The sympathetic narratives on Cole's enlightenment highlight a larger theme of his coddling in the rap game.
Every year, I write a battle rhyme for the entire top 10 of Billboard. No disrespect, it's just the way I practice.
Donkey of the Day for Monday, April 8th goes to all of you that are disappointed that j.cole apologized to Kendrick Lamar.
How many people think Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest motherfuckers to ever touch a fucking microphone?
What you did last night, every nigga that's that nigga in the culture that you're in, trust and believe they looking at you a different way today.
But the truth is, no. It's like I use meditation now as like, I say it as like an emergency break glass thing.
j.cole entered the 2010s rap scene contrary to Kendrick Lamar and more like Drake with a key co-sign and backing from hip-hop's the gatekeeper, Jay-Z. Cole signed to Jay-Z's Roc Nation in 2009 and was the label's first artist. Roc Nation was Jay-Z's second attempt at label ownership and another milestone in his pursuit of black capitalism. 3 years prior, j.cole was a college graduate from St. John's University, actively pursuing his rap career with slow progress. His first encounter with Jay-Z is now a canon story for his steadfast fan base. After finishing his first mixtape, The Come Up, Cole decided to find Jay-Z and pass the tape personally to him, who at the time was recording his 10th studio album, American Gangsta. Cole hoped after Jay-Z listened to his mixtape, he would eventually get signed and maybe even featured on the album. Reflecting on their first encounter from an ABC News special in 2009, j.cole said, "Maybe we could just slide him the CD, and if we slide him the CD, he'll go upstairs and listen to it. And if he listens to it, he's gonna love it. And he's gonna send down, for me to come upstairs, and he's probably gonna sign me," or whatever was in my head. He waited in the rain outside Jay-Z's New York studio for hours and received a rejection on the spot. Their relationship since then is peculiar. To the average hip-hop listener, perhaps a newer Cole fan, it's a connection that's comfortably forgotten. The two men seem to have nourished their relationship behind the scenes rather than in the public eye. A far cry from Lil Wayne's mentorship of Drake, which saw the two work on numerous collabs. Jay-Z and j.cole have released only 2 songs together, Mr. Nice Watch and A Star Is Born. Their relaxed public-facing relationship was intentional for both rappers, as Jay-Z was developing and managing artists differently compared to Rockefeller and his new 28 venture, Roc Nation. Cole, on the other hand, was hesitant about the Jay-Z cosign overshadowing his talent and his ability to succeed alone. 2024's j.cole is very different from the rapper we were first introduced to, especially through the lens of the 2010s rap class. Every year since the death of hip-hop's golden age in the 80s and 90s, commenters and onlookers, usually not embedded in the culture, love to remind you the genre is dying or already dead, only for a new talent to emerge or a legend to return that restores the faith in the game. The early to mid-2010s, especially rap superstars who rose to prominence, were hip-hop's other golden age. For the 2010 XXL freshman class, j.cole appeared on the list alongside with Wiz Khalifa, Big Sean, Nipsey Hussle, Freddie Gibbs, J-Rock, and others. Nicki Minaj and Drake were already so hugely successful at the time that they both declined their 2010 placements and opted for separate covers. 2011's freshman class saw the likes of Kendrick Lamar, Meek Mill, Big Kirk, Mac Miller, and YG. 2012 with Future, French Montana, Iggy Azalea, and finally 2013 and 2014 with Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, Travis Scott, Logic, Joey Badass, Chance the Rapper, Ty Dolla $ign, Lil Bibby, Kevin Gates, and many others. The 2010s class was vast, diverse, and competitive, and while recently Cole has been placed in rap's mythical Big Three, back then he wasn't the presumptive star like Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Cole's posturing from some fans as profound is intriguing considering he's a rather simple lyricist in comparison to 2010's all-star lineup. Compared to rappers who are also extremely good writers like Kendrick Lamar and Nicki Minaj, he fails to incorporate elaborate literary schemes. Nicki Minaj's favorite literary device is homophones, words that pronounce alike but with different meanings. For example, look at her very clever verse from Yo Gotti's Rake It Up.
Pink Lamborghini, just a race with China. What the race to China? Just a race in China. Little bad Trini bitch, but she mixed with China.
Kendrick Lamar is a Pulitzer-winning poet who loves alliterations, allusions, repetitions, and imagery. j.cole's supposed deepness is not found in his writing, but more so with his content. Speaking to NPR in 2011, he said, "I started off on a military base, and I remember moving. I guess this was after my parents got divorced. From there to a trailer park, it was one of the scary places I had been to, because I was always worried about my mother. Around the 5th or 6th grade, I moved from there to a nicer house, where I had my own room. So I saw life at all levels. I'm half black, half white, so I basically put it like this: I can fit in anywhere. That's why I write so many stories from different perspectives, because I've seen so many." His discography further highlights his above-average talents and not gold status acclaim. His classic album is actually his 2010 mixtape, Friday Night Lights, which saw his best attempt at the full package: lyricism, beats, and production. His meditation era with the 2014 Forest Hills Drive saw his highest-selling album and more themed storytelling. Taking a step back to reflect on fame and release an album on his own terms. Then came 2021's surprisingly skilled off-season, which saw Cole reckon with his potential fall-off in the rap game and finally claimed he was indeed worthy of GOAT status. Other releases in between these three eras have strengths and lows. His debut album, Cole World, The Sideline Story, was underwhelming, with Cole succumbing to label pressure, but Workout, the lead single, is still a good song. KOD was a righteous and conscious Cole, but just superficially. Born Sinner and For Your Eyes Only are solid projects, with For Your Eyes Only being the better project and an underrated album from Cole's catalog.
That nigga's a sweetheart for real.
I don't know him.
He's a fruit pop for real.
You know, he sells like no record. He hasn't even came out yet.
I can't even see how a kid could look at Ja Rule and want to be like Ja Rule.
Maybe it's the nonchalant way he's plucking the guitar strings while he talks, but Cole's presence has the same effect as strung indica. Everyone's relaxed and in a heady space, trying to draw profound conclusions from pop culture. It feels like a glimpse of how Cole must have held court in his dorm room at St. John's University in Queens. A little self-serious, a little goofy, reasonably asserting that he's right. Every sapiosexual's wet dream, basically. Allison P. Davis, GQ. In her fall 2023 interview for Complex magazine, rapper No Name, continuing her rollout and press tour for her second studio album, Sundial, spoke about her 2020 beef, or spirited debate as writer Jordan Rose wrote. Reflecting on the incident, No Name is much more good-natured about the whole ordeal, stating, "I think we both could have went about it in a better way, but I love how you called it a spirited debate, because it really wasn't like a diss. It was like, I have an ideological disagreement with you. I'm going to write about it on a song, which is like, we're grown as hell. We both could have done better." I'm like, bro, I'm only on Twitter. I'm not even talking about you. While No Name has moved on from the event, the spirited debate is an important timestamp in Cole's career and the landscape of hip-hop, especially for femme hip-hop heads, particularly black women. Snow on the Bluff was a solo track and conceivable diss track aimed at No Name, released on June 16, 2020, the summer of COVID and racial tensions globally. Cole has vehemently downplayed the diss part, but the evidence is damning. Initially opening verse 1 with compliments for No Name, but then swiftly questions her queen tone due to his intellectual insecurities. The track was released a few weeks after No Name's tweet calling out hip-hop's so-called conscious rappers. Poor black folks all over the country are putting their bodies on the line in protest for our collective safety, and your all favorite top-selling rappers not even willing to put a tweet up. Niggas' whole discographies be about black plight, and they know where to be found, she tweeted.
The media.
The media.
Media.
The media.
Media.
The media.
The media.
The media. The media.
Fuck the media.
Fuck the media.
Fuck them motherfuckers.
The griot uplifts the ideology that all rap is and can be conscious. The distinction between conscious and non-conscious rappers is the white gaze on black art, as noted by Andre G. in his 2020 Substack post on the topic. Made famous by American novelist Toni Morrison, the white gaze is the assumption that the default reader or observer is coming from the perspective of someone who identifies themselves as white, which can alter the way the artist perceive and how artists continue to create. NBA Youngboy's Trauma and Rags to Riches lyrics are as conscious as Kendrick Lamar rapping about his Compton upbringing and Good Kid, Mad City. No Name out of the 2010s highly political class is by far the best. Her activism moves beyond just verses, but community building in her city of Chicago. In her masterpiece Sundial, she boldly called out black capitalism and America's police state through references to Jay-Z and Beyonce. Her consciousness has been nursed because she reads the radical liberation works and encourages others to do the same through the No Name Book Club. Cole's track, Snow on the Bluff, is titled after a 2011 documentary of the same name. The documentary set in Atlanta follows drug dealer Curtis Snow and his captivating crime life. The documentary and lifestyle portrayed by Snow in the film was later revealed to be heavily exaggerated and mostly fabricated, a symbol for false prophets as noted by Jalen Washington May's article on the Cole diss track, and ultimately an important theme throughout the song.
How you gonna lead when you attacking the very same niggas that really do need the shit that you saying? Instead of conveying you holier, come help us get her to speed. Shit, it's a reason until like 200 years.
Along with acknowledging his faux deepness, j.cole scolds No Name for not educating him and others in a tone he would prefer, encouraging No Name to be more patient and educate him despite Cole graduating from St. John's University, magna cum laude, and having greater financial resources to attain such knowledge since his debut. Unlike the April 7th apology to Kendrick Lamar, j.cole refused to read the room and largely stood by the diss track despite its ill timing and critique from peers. In support of No Name, Chance the Rapper tweeted, "Yet another L for men masking patriarchy and gaslighting as constructive criticism. They both my peoples, but only one of them put out a whole song talking about how the other needs to reconsider their tone and attitude in order to save the world. It's not constructive and undermines all the work No Name has done. It's not black women's job to spoon feed us. We grown." Despite the misogynoid pinnings of Snow on the Bluff and j.cole admitting he wasn't a deep prophet like his fans think, the same fan base attacked No Name on social media. unwilling to come to terms with Cole's potential mediocrity.
Then he went and he did a show, I think the next night or the night after, and I think he digitally imposed my head on top of an Ethiopian's body.
At 14 years old, Queens native and MC Roxanne Shante was recruited to write a retort track to UTFO's Roxanne Roxanne. The 1984 song was about a woman named Roxanne who declined the hip-hop group Romantic Courting. Using the original beat or instrumentals from Roxanne Roxanne, Shante released her track Roxanne's Revenge that would spawn the Roxanne Wars and commence hip-hop's first on-wax beef. Before 1984, Answer Records existed in hip-hop and were foundational to battle rap culture. The Roxanne Wars were unique due to the high number of MCs who responded to Shantae's on-wax claims and bravado. It was further important because it proved that beef could not only be culturally significant, but also commercially lucrative for the rappers involved. Since then, rap beefs have populated every decade of hip-hop, synonymous with the culture. At their most noble, it's a period for rappers to flex their lyricism and showcase how they stand out amongst competitors. When exploited for commercial and media traction, they can turn deadly. Violence moves behind bars, such as the East Coast versus West Coast beef that saw the homicide deaths of Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. On April 5th, J.Cole released his fourth mixtape, Might Delete Later. The mixtape came weeks after Kendrick Lamar's guest appearance on Metro Boomin and Future's We Don't Trust You album, making his vexes known about the Big Three, with this is aimed at both Drake and J. Cole on the track Like That. The anticipation for J. Cole and Drake's responses was high, and Cole finally delivered with 7 Minute Drill, the last track on his mixtape, Might Delete Later. From critics and fans, it was underwhelming, with some even questioning Cole's sincerity in dissing Lamar. Arguably, most of his jabs are taken from rap Twitter's general timeline, and his most intriguing bar, questioning the replay value of To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar's third studio album. His apology and speech at the Dreamville Festival a few days later confirmed speculation and immediately shunned him from the Big Three placement. Honestly, an exclusion that's been long overdue. In his 2019 single, Middle Child, from Dreamville's compilation album, Revenge of the Dreamers 3, J. Cole rap. Back when the rap game was praying I diss, they act like two legends cannot coexist. A clear reference to Kendrick Lamar and Drake. While Lamar and Drake have had a complicated relationship since the release of Good Kid, Mad City, J. Cole has kept an amicable relationship with both men, constantly conceding their greatness in comparison to them. But the respect is mutual, as both Lamar and Drake have publicly praised J. Cole. In 2014, after the release of Cole's 2014 Forest Hills Drive, Kendrick Lamar said, "That's my brother, man. To see that he did exactly what he said he was going to do, and me believing in what he was going to do, is just confirmation that good people will always be blessed." Cole and Drake come from similar backgrounds, both biracial with thorny relationships with their black dads. Out of the throuple, they seem to hang out the most and announce a collab tour this year. It's okay to recognize J. Cole's vulnerability in bowing out of a race he never belonged, and also think his apology was insanely corny. His conflicted and stressed spirit could have been avoided if he didn't release 7 Minute Drill. Drake hasn't spoken until this weekend with his alleged diss track leaked on social media. It's also appropriate to question if Cole would still apologize for 7 Minute Drill if it was better received. Ultimately, this moment is crucial for the ongoing beef because it finally dwindles down the main opponents to just Kendrick Lamar and Drake, which was always going to be the main event. Kendrick Lamar securing what he feels is rightfully his, and Drake tying up loose ends to his bibliography. For hip-hop, the beef and its winner represents a turning point around themes of white consumers, capitalism, and whether black art can exist in its most unfiltered form. This post is not of journalistic integrity. It's actually a very angry op-ed.
The beating of the drum. And it's time for the Griot Storytelling Circle.
I see dead people. I have a lot of respect for, the other two guys that I'm constantly, up against, which is like Cole and Kendrick.
The rap battle that decides this generation's greatest rapper of all time is over. The on-wax beef that ignited on March 26 with Kendrick Lamar's guest appearance on Like That reached its peak late April to early May of this year, with the crowd favorite, or better yet, the culture's favorite, Kendrick Lamar ascending to the throne. What's left to be said?
I missed.
Okay, so I'm missing the part where
your girl.
You keep saying
we've
that.
pedophilia.
Who's winning? How about that? That's a better question. Who's winning the battle to you right now?
Oh man, Drake is definitely winning from an MC standpoint.
Cole's response at Dreamville, I was kind of distraught. I was confused. I didn't know it was because he.
I think for all three of us, it is the time to see who can transcend the generations, much like Jay did.
No, you not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer, Kendrick Lamar closes out verse 3 in his diss track directed at Canadian rapper, longtime opponent, and former friend Drake. Not Like Us, the fifth installment in the lyrical beef spanning 10 tracks that will most likely continue into the summer. Things began innocently enough with a 2023 collaborative song, First Person Shooter, with rappers j.cole and Drake. Whatever putative tension circulating the Big Three, an informal term to describe the 2010s most influential and best rappers, seemed recoiled. j.cole and Drake trading bravado bars with one Big Three member noticeably absent. His lack of presence foreshadowed the events that would spiral months later. We got the first Michael Jackson reference with Drake's boldest brag.
Will they ever give me flowers? Well, of course not. They don't wanna have that talk cause it's a sore spot. They know the boy the one they gotta boycott. Niggas talking about when this gonna be repeated. What the fuck, bro? I'm one away from Michael. Nigga, beat it. Nigga, beat it.
Speaking on his position in the rap game and the culture's reluctance to give him that #1 spot, despite all his accolades. With First Person Shooter, Drake tied Michael Jackson as the male solo artist with the most Billboard #1s. He will most likely surpass Jackson this year or at least shortly after. Flash forward to the evening of May 4th, we are now on track 10 with Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. The biggest complaint laid at Lamar during this battle is that his diss tracks don't have replay value. Entangled literary schemes with layers that are not easily digestible to the average rap fan. Produced by LA native Mustard, Not Like Us is a certified club banger, a catchy hook with the usual great storytelling from Lamar, reflective of a very important and recognizable theme in Lamar's career, a commitment to his artistic integrity regardless of commercial appeal. In his most condemning verses, Lamar explains Drake's complicated relationship with Black American culture, hip-hop, and its current mecca, Atlanta.
You called Future when you didn't see the club. Like, what? Lil Baby help you get your lingo up. What? 21 get your false street cred. Thug make you feel like you a slime in your head. Like, what? Quavo said you can be from Northside. What? 2 Chainz say you good, but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you're not a colleague. You a fucking colonel.
Arguing Drake's borrowing from regional sounds and artists in various projects is similar to the white colonization of Black people. Between this drop and First Person Shooter, j.cole released a half-hearted attempt at the crown with 7-Minute Drill, and asterisks in the ongoing diss war between Lamar and Drake. The song was eventually removed from streaming services, and much to the dismay of his fans, Cole apologized to Kendrick Lamar publicly during his set at the 2024 Dreamville Festival. 7-Minute Drill was a response to Kendrick Lamar's verse on the Future and Metro Boomin's project, We Don't Trust You. Lamar contemptuously shuts down the illusion of the Big Three, claiming that the #1 spot is him, and also providing the second Michael Jackson reference.
Motherfuck the Big Three. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga, bum. What? I'm really like that. And your best work is a light pack. Nigga, Prince outlived Mark Jack. Nigga, bum.
Between this and Kendrick Lamar's final blow with Not Like Us, Drake officially released Push Ups on April 19th after the track circulated on social media for a while, with him initially not claiming the apparent leak, but alluding to it was real. Then came the AI-assisted tailor-made freestyle that was removed from Drake's verified platforms due to the state of Tupac Shakur threatening legal action. Lamar fired back with Euphoria on April 30th, and just to make sure everyone knew he was fully ready to fight for the crown, he released 616 in LA 3 days later. Throughout the On Wax War, Lamar has maintained that he's smarter than Drake. He even inferred that he had intel on the Sixth God due to leaks in his camp. The first tangible evidence found in the cover art of 616 in LA, which included one Maybach glove, seemingly belonging to Drake. What was supposed to be a victory lap for Drake ended up being completely ignored and overshadowed by Kendrick Lamar. In his 4th installment, Lamar surprised the entire rap community, dropping the Alchemist-produced track around 40 minutes after Drake's Family Matters. Addressing Drake's closest family members directly, first his son Adonis, then his parents, Sandra and Dennis, Drake's alleged daughter, and lastly Drake himself, calling Drake by his formal name, Aubrey, rather than his stage name. Lamar detailing the dangerous and exploited parts of the industry and accusing Drake of participating in such lewd activities around sexual assault and the abuse of girls and women. The cover art is expanded in Meet the Grams to include more personal and embarrassing items of Drake, such as the diabetes treatment medication, Ozempic, which is also commonly used for weight control. Another drug found in the cover art is the controlled substance zolpidem. Zolpidem is a common date rape drug.
Find things in African tradition that are directly related to rap. Of course.
As both MCs exchanged bars, it became clear the hate was real, and this was much bigger than just a rap beef. A referendum on hip-hop's current stakes and if black consumers and hip-hop gatekeepers could reverse the clock. Drake and Kendrick Lamar represent polar opposites in rap's ecosystem post-2010. Drake cemented his presence in the game with 2009's So Far Gone mixtape, also a beneficial mentorship from Birdman and Lil Wayne's crew. Lamar's harvest season was 2011 Section 80, and then the culture artifact Good Kid, Mad City a year later. Our sons should go play at the park. 2 light-skinned kids, that shit would be cute, unless you don't want to be seen with anyone that isn't blacker than you. Drake raps in Family Matters, calling out the hypocrisy with Lamar's jabs around his mixed-race identity, considering that Kendrick Lamar is partnered with a light-skinned woman of mixed identity. Probably the most playful bar in the track, but also loaded with themes that have been underlining this beef. The themes? Drake and Kendrick Lamar's differing black experiences, and how that weaves into their artistry.
When you come to Toronto, you'd better come to play.
Drake was born in the mid-80s to an African-American father from Memphis and an Ashkenazi Jewish-Canadian mother. His city of birth? Canada's most populous city, Toronto. The city is often touted as a multiculturalism safe haven with high percentages of immigrant populations from the Caribbean and Asia, but the trope is a bit misleading. In a 2017 inquiry from the Ontario Human Rights Commission, it found that black people are subjugated to systemic racial discrimination, racial profiling, and anti-black racism across the range of interactions with the Toronto Police Service. Dennis and Sandra Graham divorced when Drake was 5, and until recently, their relationship wasn't the healthiest.
Do you remember back to Western Road, Scarlet Road? Hanging with Aaron Bell and Rennie, shit could've gone south for me. He looked out for me, ma. He never let me do drugs. He let me shoot a gun one summer, but out there everyone does. He made me listen to his music, old music, soul music, shit that can only be created if you go through it. I used to get teased for being black, and now I'm here and I'm not black enough.
According to local interviews with Mr. Graham, he noted Drake spent summers with him in Memphis and introduced his son to his very black and soulful musical roots. Dennis Graham is a musician who was the former drummer for Jerry Lee Lewis. From his early Western world upbringing in Toronto, he and his mother moved to Forest Hill. Although the suburb is extremely affluent, Drake has disputed claims he grew up wealthy. Drake did not, in fact, start from the bottom, far from it actually. Drake hails from upscale Forest Hill, moving to the neighborhood at age 11 after his parents' divorce. Drake didn't grow up as wealthy as some others in his neighborhood. There are areas of Forest Hill that are solidly middle class, and it is there that Drake grew up. Charlotte Graham for the NYU Local. By the time we were introduced to Drake in 2006 with his first mixtape, Room for Improvement, he was a familiar face. 5 years earlier, he starred on the popular Canadian show Degrassi as the character Jimmy Brooks, but music was always his #1 choice. Kendrick Lamar's black experience needs less of context, considering that black experience is told repeatedly through all his work. Speaking to NPR for the rollout and press junket for his third studio album, To Pimp a Butterfly, the rapper discussed witnessing his first murder at 5 years old. It was outside my apartment unit. A guy was out there serving his narcotics and someone rolled up with a shotgun and blew his chest out. Admittedly, it done something to me right then and there. It let me know that this is not only something that I'm looking at, but it's something that maybe I have to get used to. You dig what I'm saying?
LA police are getting their orders as they prepare for another assault on street gangs.
But that was before the Los Angeles Police Department.
His home was Los Angeles County and his community was the city of Compton. Before the 60s and 70s, Compton was predominantly white. The Supreme Court's banishment of racial covenants in real estate allowed for more black residents to move in. For black residents in Compton, their dreams of advancement were stunted by structural, institutional, and systemic racism. Presidents Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan's war on drugs exacerbated the blight. Lamar grew up in an American-made contemporary war zone. The conflict, South Central LA's crack epidemic and dueling gang wars. The refugees, black and brown residents brutalized by the state with very few options for survival. When it comes to their musical styles, the two men differ strikingly. Kendrick Lamar with his standard jazz drill, his magnum opus, To Pimp a Butterfly, included jazz contributions from innovators. Lamar is also diverse, mixing West Coast beats, trap, experimental R&B, and funk into his work. He is distinctively Compton, repping his home as much as possible. While Drake wasn't the first rapper to sing on hooks, he made it less stigmatizing. T-Pain's auto-tune rap singing was hugely successful, but he received major criticism and sometimes bullying from his rap peers. By the time Drake entered the game, Lil Wayne and Kanye West were already dabbling with singing their hooks and rapping their verses, West notably with 808s and Heartbreak, making Drake's ascension into the sound much easier. His earlier work with Canadian producer 40 showcased his most distinctive sound. A mix of beats with lower frequencies and sample rates allows Drake's vocal arrangements to be the sole star. Like Lamar, he has switched up his sounds just a lot more aggressively and not always ethically.
Why are you someone I like Drake?
Every black girl that went to college like
He just really gets us.
On March 29, 2024, Beyoncé released her 8th studio album, Cowboy Carter. The country project is distinct from her other works, like her house music album Renaissance 2 years earlier. In 2019, she released The Gift, a soundtrack album for The Lion King and the musical film Black is King. The project heavily incorporates the new wave of African music. To be a global superstar like she is, you have to adapt to the music industry's changing waves. One expects artists to switch up their sounds and maybe even borrow from other musical lanes. The line between appreciation and appropriation can get blurry.
Fabricating stories on the family front, cause you heard Mr. Morale. A pathetic master manipulator, I can smell the tales on you now. You're not a rap artist, you a scam artist with the hopes of being accepted. Tommy Hilfiger stood out, but FUBU never had been your collection. I make music that electrify 'em, you make music that pacify 'em.
Kendrick Lamar raps in his first verse of Euphoria, accusing Drake of not fully being accepted in hip-hop culture in comparison to him. The symbolism refers to Drake as Tommy Hilfiger, whose brand was once embraced heavily in hip-hop culture, despite pervasive racism rumors circulating Hilfiger. In return, Lamar is a stand-in for FUBU, the hip-hop apparel company. Its acronym stands for Us, By Us, and was founded by black men. In 2015, rapper Earl Sweatshirt tweeted criticism to Drake's cosign of then emerging rapper Kodak Black. Drake can be a bit of a vulture on young rap niggas, and I don't want little Kodak to be a victim of it, he said. When an onlooker pushed back against the sentiment, Earl Sweatshirt responded with, I feel you, but I still feel like Drake's overall statement isn't check out this new shit I heard, it's always self-serving. Rap is a highly competitive and young person's game. Most mainstream rappers have a 3-year lifespan. Their initial underground buzz, where everyone is excited for what's next, their peak, and then their fall off. To be a rap superstar like Drake and achieve the chart status he has amassed, you must drop consistently, and creativity sometimes gets outsourced. Drake is hip-hop's best chameleon. Each collaboration comes with the possibility of a new accent and persona. His feature stimulus packages aren't long-lasting for buzzing artists, but highly beneficial to him, allowing Drake to tie himself to what's poppin' in rap with the resources of a well-established artist.
Say, Drake, I hear you like 'em young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him.
Kendrick Lamar raps in Not Like Us, pointing out Drake's tendencies for dating and mingling with very young women. Lamar going further to accuse Drake and his close associates of pedophilia and other predatory abuses against women. Drake has denied these accusations and alleged Kendrick Lamar physically assaulted his longtime partner, Whitney Alford. Along with the race angle, women are the biggest theme in this beef, both men pandering to them because their approval is conditional while not sincerely committed to their protection, reflective of the culture's abuse of women while needing their taste and presence to propel hip-hop forward. 2024 is the year of rap beef, and that wouldn't be possible without Megan Thee Stallion's Hiss and the disastrous Bigfoot track from Nicki Minaj, two black women steering the culture with very little credit. The more high ground that Kendrick Lamar has taken when it comes to Drake's alleged abusive crimes is interesting, considering he surrounds himself with abusers too. His mentor is Dr. Dre, who physically assaulted journalist Denise D. Barnes in 1991. Dr. Dre's ex-fiancée, Michelle Lay, recounted numerous incidents of physical abuse that left her with blackened eyes and cracked ribs. Lamar provided a redemption arc for Kodak Black in his most recent studio album, Mr. Morrow and the Big Steppers, despite Black not seeking forgiveness for his crimes that include the rape of a teenage girl. The song Auntie Diaries from the album is a very poor attempt at addressing homophobia and transphobia in the black community, highlighting Lamar's consciousness is not that radical or progressive. Lamar has admitted to a sex addiction that strained his relationship with Whitney Alford. Yes, it's great that he's in therapy now and working on his past trauma, but that doesn't erase the years of emotional abuse Alford endured. His writing is far from feminist leaning, with a history of misogynist lyrics directed at black women. In 2023, musician Cassie filed a federal lawsuit against hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy Combs, accusing him of sex trafficking, rape, emotional abuse, coercive drugging for nearly a decade. This wasn't the first time a hip-hop gatekeeper faced abuse allegations. Russell Simmons fled to Bali to avoid possible prosecution of sexual assault lawsuits, the first filing successful this year, with Drew Dixon's defamation suit. If Kendrick Lamar versus Drake is a reckoning on the culture, who benefits more, and why is it always at the expense of women? Nigga, I said it, I know that you mad. I empty the clip over friendlier jabs. You mentioned my C, now deal with his dad. I gotta go bad, I gotta go bad. Drake begins Family Matters, the best track from Toronto's King during this war. We got another Michael Jackson reference with the I gotta go bad line. Bad is a 1980s song from Jackson, in which his clean-cut pop persona gets a lot edgier. Drake uses this symbolism as a final warning to Lamar. This is no longer friendly competition. But again, Drake loses focus by sending shots to other foes like singer-songwriter The Weeknd and rapper A$AP Rocky. Fun side conquests due to the messiness of this beef, but ultimately distractions in the main event. Distractions. There were a lot of distractions for Drake. From Rick Ross' many social media posts to Metro Booming's Twitter fingers, it was clear Drake was fighting multiple wars while Kendrick Lamar remained off social media. The self-proclaimed boogeyman only appeared to drop his bars and dip. Lamar was calculated and used similar manipulation tactics he accused Drake of to sway the culture to his side, which wasn't a hard task. His media image is favorable and he has largely avoided controversies. His accusations against Drake are more believable to the culture with less evidence. Kendrick Lamar already hinted at the ways this beef would play out, particularly how Drake would act and perform through his earlier releases with Euphoria and 616 in LA. The unsettling entrance to Euphoria is a reverse vocal sample from the 1978 The Wiz. The line, "Everything they say about me is true, I'm a phony." While the line is said by Richard Pryor's character, Michael Jackson is also in the movie as the Scarecrow. Despite its name, the least scariest character and arguably the least genuine. Drake's pleas for Lamar to hit him with a quintuple entendre on the tailor-made freestyle were delivered on Euphoria and 1616 in LA. The latter track was produced by Soundwave and Taylor's longtime producer, Jack Antonoff, so literally tailor-made.
Fucking way. What Kendrick say? Kendrick dropped immediately?
On May 18, 2019, rapper Pusha T dropped hip-hop's greatest diss track of all time, The Story of Adidon. The track sampled Jay-Z's The Story of OJ and for the first time punctured Drake's public image. The cover art is a picture of Drake in blackface. The track was significant not just in hip-hop culture, but also general popular culture. A few weeks later, Drake released Scorpion and the song In My Feelings off the album went #1 on Billboard Hot 100 for 10 weeks. While everyone basks in Kendrick Lamar's victory lap, and we once again hear talks about Drake being finished in the game, only time will tell the honest interpretation of this beef. Drake has already cemented himself in hip-hop history, and his legacy won't be erased, no matter how many battles he loses. Lamar's win is a confirmation of well-established feelings in the culture, rather than a reveal. Even the revisionist history around Drake's acceptance in the culture is intriguing, because it's not just white people listening to him. While he for sure faced initial barriers during his come-up, Drake was accepted by most, if not all, of hip-hop's gatekeepers and black consumers. Is this beef a reckoning, or a lack of accountability from the culture?
Mon nom c'est Mamadou Mohamedou Djabate. Je suis griot. Ici, au Mali, les griots, c'est le jelly. Le jelly, c'est le sang.
Let it build for yourself and work gradually, slowly. Anybody that's ever made a lot of money didn't make it fast, you feel me?
Feel you.
Off top. PG Lane.
For many black consumers of rap music and just generally black popular culture, this year's Juneteenth get-together took place at K-Dot's crib. The crib, the Kia Foreman in Englewood, our cousins, the people of South Central Los Angeles. And of course, a live stream provided by Amazon and Twitch for family and friends who couldn't be there in person. Just when you think there's nothing left to be said about the Big Three debate, Kendrick Lamar's pop-out has been thinking a lot about rap beef once again, particularly the legacy of participants involved.
Oh, y'all ain't gonna let nobody mock and imitate our legends, huh? Let's try it again.
I don't know how Drake comes back. I don't know what his sound is gonna be.
Hey,
I don't
but that's
know.
what we're saying. Like, what is he?
Y'all was like, well, what did he? What got taken from him?
Man, we should do a video, and I didn't think we was gonna still do it. I was like, all right, you know, like when I heard we was doing it, I was just like, oh, this is gonna be crazy.
When I walk out in these cities and these countries, I could be proud and say this is where I'm from. You know.
Kendrick Lamar announced the pop-out Ken and Friends on June 5th, 2024. The concert's marketing was minimal, with Lamar posting the announcement only to his Instagram stories, his first live performance since the Mr. Morale in the Big Steppers era. The event was presented by PG Lang and Free Lunch. Free Lunch is Tim Henshaw's creative studio. Henshaw is head of hip-hop and R&B at Amazon, which explains how the Jeff Bezos company had exclusive streaming rights for the show. PG Lang is an independent creative agency launched by Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free in 2020. The company's name is an acronym for programming language. Furthermore, I would use the words independent creative agency gingerly, considering Kendrick Lamar is a multi-millionaire and a global superstar rapper with popularity and money to back his creative endeavors. Dave Free is Kendrick Lamar's best friend from high school and also an established creative himself. He's a filmmaker whose work consists of Lamar's most noteworthy music videos, such as We Cry Together, Family Ties, or All Right. For a while, the creative duo went by the name The Little Homies. In the world of rapper companies, PG Lang is intriguing because it's not a record label, but rather a creative agency doing things outside of rap and even music. This year, the agency created the set design for Chanel's Spring/Summer 2024 Haute Couture show, The Button. The partnership included a commercial with Kendrick Lamar behind the score. In 2023, PG Lang launched an alternative smartphone called the Light Phone. The concert took place at the Kia Forum in Inglewood. Lamar's set design was a metal rectangular cuboid with Lamar and performers in the middle. Graphics were largely minimal with a lot of attention paid to lighting, the color of the night, red.
Well, don't tell no lie about me, and I'm gonna tell the truth about you.
Lamar was dressed in a red The World hoodie, blue jeans, and some new bling provided by jeweler Ben Baller. Many have noted Lamar's outfit is similar to Tupac's performance outfit at the 1994 Source Awards. His setlist was 18 songs, starting with the nearly 7-minute diss track Euphoria and ending with the LA anthem Not Like Us, which was played 6 times. Celebrities in attendance included LeBron James and his wife Savannah James. Kendrick Lamar's partner Whitney Alford and kids were also spotted at the event. So was TDE label mate SZA and others on the stage.
Imagine rock up in them projects where them niggas pick up. Santa Claus don't miss them. Niggas spinning pistol.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Ice-T's response to mounting public pressure against his song, Cop Killer. He says it's nothing more than a fantasy about killing police officers.
Every Friday and Saturday night, aspiring young rappers gather at a record store at Hollywood and Vine.
Rap singer Eazy-E has lost his battle with AIDS just 10 days after revealing that he had the disease.
Kendrick's show, as much as it shone a spotlight on LA's flourishing wealth of talent, past, present, and future, was a testament to LA's legacy of contrarianism, of contradiction. The city itself is often positioned as a counterpoint to New York, America's first city. Ken and Friends was a rejection of external definitions, a declaration of LA's own identity, but more than anything, it was a party, the likes of which you can only throw on the West Coast. Aaron Williams for Op Rocks. Before Kendrick Lamar's headline performance, fans were introduced to some of the West Coast's burgeoning and established stars. The biggest commercial acts were Tyler the Creator, Roddy Ricch, Steve Lacy, Ty Dolla $ign, YG, and Dom Kennedy. Those who performed during Kendrick Lamar's actual set included J-Rock, Ab-Soul, and Schoolboy Q, aka Black Hippie. The entire event was narrated by Bay Area rapper E40, and the DJs of the night were Head and Mustard. DJ Head during his set introduced the thousands and maybe even millions of viewers watching at home to the underground talent in the LA area, such as Rembo, Shoreline Mafia, and Ray Vaughn. Artist and dancer Tommy the Clown was also there.
Real rap. I knock frowns right off of your skull cap. You can't see me when I step into the booth. Your wish list can't die, yeah, I'm the truth.
I like to be alone a lot. I need that. It's that duality. I can go in front of a crowd of 100,000 people and express myself, then go back, be alone, and collect my thoughts all over again. Kendrick Lamar said in his 2018 cover story for Vanity Fair. A self-described antisocial extrovert, Kendrick Lamar's Juneteenth pop-out brought forth a self-assured and triumphant Lamar, the rapper leaning into his beef with Drake and the industry politics surrounding his impending 6th studio album. Throughout his career, Lamar has largely avoided rap beef. Of course, there have been rumors of resentment within his Top Dog crew due to Lamar's career success. Then there was a control verse in the light friend or foe relationship with Big Sean. Jay Electronica can't stand him, and Lupe Fiasco for sure wants that respectful one-on-one. But again, none of these compare to the Big Three duel. Throughout his career, especially after the success of Good Kid, Mad City, Lamar has discussed his mixed emotions about fame and his cultural significance in American popular culture. He's never had an issue completing project rollouts and the media circuit that comes with it, but it's evident he's a reclusive personality until now. Rather than going through the motions of an obligatory rollout for either a summer or fall album release, Kendrick Lamar is fully immersed in his victory and, most importantly, his legacy. This year has been a big one for the Big Three and j.cole, with legacy as a recurring theme. We saw that with Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday 2 and j.cole's forthcoming album, The Fall Off. Drake's Fall Off speculation has existed since 2021's Certified Lover Boy. After the release of Not Like Us on May 4th, Lamar has nothing to prove, performing on a stage like someone who always knew he was number one and is now resting comfortably on rap's throne, fully enamored with all the exploits of success, not burdened by it like he once was.
So where will we be? Without our legacy. Come on.
And then there was Dre. The South Central LA native was the last guest performer to share the stage with Lamar. Basking in the aura of the greatest rapper of all time and this nostalgic and endearing hometown celebration, I was guzzling the Kendrick Lamar Kool-Aid and for once feeling optimistic about rap. When I heard the instantly recognizable Still Dre beat and saw Dr. Dre ascend to the stage, the moment was influential and cool. But then I remember his prolific abuse of women.
One night he came in, I guess he went out with Doc and yelling, and he came in drunk and just took off and sucked me in ass.
Due to his contributions in commercial rap, Dr. Dre's legacy is cemented and harder to critique. He's in that rapper billionaire adjacent club through his companies Aftermath Entertainment and Beats Electronic. Through his record label Aftermath, he signed Eminem and 50 Cent. Kendrick Lamar signed on in 2012 with the slightly confusing joint deal with Interscope and Top Dog. I mean, Pusha T once said, "You signed to one nigga that signed to another nigga that signed to three niggas, now that's bad luck." In the 80s and 90s, he was a part of the LA rap group NWA. For his 1992 solo debut, The Chronic, he signed to Suge Knight's Death Row Records. The relationship between the two men has sour sense. His sonic advancements in rap created gangsta funk or funk rap, a synthesizer-heavy 1970s funk sound of Parliament Funkadelic, aka P-Funk, and American Music Collective. He picked me up by my hair and my ear and smashed my face and body into the wall. Next thing I know, I'm down on the ground and he's kicking me in the ribs and stomping on my fingers. I ran into the woman's bathroom to hide, but he burst through the door and started bashing me in the back of the head. Journalist and musician Denise D. Barnes told the Los Angeles Times in 1991 Barnes' assailant was Dr. Dre. Michelle A. met her ex-boyfriend and father of her son Dre in 1991. Throughout the relationship, Dr. Dre was emotionally and physically abusive. A similar experience was shared by Nicole Young, Dre's ex-wife. After filing for divorce in 2020, Young stated, "Andre, Dr. Dre has verbally and emotionally decimated my personhood to the extent I currently suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome. And now that I'm fully ruining the fun, let's talk about the irony of Amazon sponsoring the pop-out, a beneficial move for them since the tech giant has been courting rappers for a while now. For example, Nicki Minaj and Queen Radio. Additionally, according to Amazon, the live stream of the concert broke Amazon Music streaming records. For Black consumers of hip-hop and on a more personal level, Black people living in South Central LA, I'm not sure the financial benefits of such a partnership are that far-reaching. Choosing to align with a company who is arguably one of the largest villains of late-stage capitalism, a company who has voluntarily aided America's cop state through the use of our personal data and surveillance, is a choice. But then again, who am I to speak, considering I'm an Amazon Prime member too? So where does that leave Drake? Since his lyrical loss to Lamar in May, the Toronto rapper has remained active on social media. Sporadic posts from him and his crew, curated casualness that shrieks raw and bothered. Remove the champagne poppy veil, and it's hard to imagine Drake isn't bothered though. A veteran of rap beefs, his latest opponent proved the deadliest. Unlike Meek Mill, Kendrick Lamar never released a bad diss track or waited too long to do so, dictating the beef's timeline since his guest appearance on Metro Booming and features like that, depleting Drake's momentum at every turn. And unlike Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar can go toe-to-toe with Drake's commercial success, remaining the culture's darling and appealing to white America because his poverty-filled Compton upbringing provides the perfect escapism for Liam, who loves Kendrick Lamar but never interacts with any black people in their suburban Midwestern neighborhood. More than ever, Drake is reflecting on his legacy and his transition out of rap, a transition that's pretty common in the game. Before Jay-Z was just Beyonce's husband, he was the king of New York. Before Ice-T was Detective Totola and Law & Order SVU, he was releasing songs about cop killing. I could go on, but I think you get the point.
You need to know your originality, your history, to know where you come from, and your dignity and your personality.
Okay, I think we passed kneeling.
Out of the third quarter, Bears ball on their own 30. Julie Rakovic swings to his left.
I don't want you to miss it.
On September 8th, 2024, the NFL announced griot and present-day rapper Kendrick Lamar as Super Bowl 59's halftime performer. The press release, accompanied by a short promotional video from Lamar, immediately became the most trending topic in mainstream hip-hop media. K-Dot stands cheering on the final fatality in the Big Three rap saga, and affiliates of Young Money Entertainment and Cash Money Records challenging the pick. As the drama unfolded, little attention was directed towards the NFL Corporation, one of America's strongest propaganda machines, and the legacy of Colin Kaepernick seems more like a distant memory. I'm Sayou Cooper, and this is The Griots, reporting on hip-hop culture through a mix of soapbox editorials, weird commercial breaks, and some very serious guests. When you think of the American Empire, what comes to mind? What cultural moments or media scream Americana? Whom and what do you see? I'm assuming for our international viewers, there's the flag and its colors, fast food, and the McDonald's logo for sure, white faces, loads of white faces, and that one mega huge black pop star. But what else?
The overpasses that we've seen have been lined with what has been going on down below as the presumed vehicle of O.J. Simpson is still traveling very slowly northbound.
You smiling? Why are you smiling?
Football's fun.
You think football is fun?
Yes, no.
No?
Certain.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. Prison officials in Massachusetts confirming they found former New England Patriot and University of Florida standout Aaron Hernandez dead in his cell this morning.
Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, and Burt Reynolds.
You can do it!
The Longest Yard.
We're running out of gas, so at this point we can only pray that they'll be able to pull this off in a safe measure.
What originated in the 19th century as a club sport of elite colleges has morphed into America's most recognizable brand. As noted by David Zirin in the documentary Behind the Shield, The Power and Politics of the NFL, American football lacks the international appeal and feasibility like the NBA and MLB. Its game viewership and devoted following is deeply embedded in the fabric of American society and culture. The NFL propaganda revolves around the system of patriarchy. There is no female Premier League and only a minor league through the United States Women's Football League, which often gets overshadowed by the Lingerie Football League. They rebranded in 2013 with the Legends Football League, but still kept the uniforms. Male players in the league are viewed as peak forms of cis-hetero masculinity, which is ironic considering how gay the sport is. While under contract, athletes spend so much of their time with each other and predominantly male staff. The team, or brotherhood as the NFL propagates, comes before everything. That includes friends, children, and spouses. Their locker rooms a vulnerable and intimidating space. After patriarchy comes nationalism. Through military ceremonial rituals broadcasted at every game, the NFL has branded itself as America's most patriotic sport. Patriotism that doesn't acknowledge the empire's imperialism or military agenda that crushes social protests deemed as threats to the state. But the NFL isn't doing this propaganda for free, though.
And so, we're raising the terror alert level to intense orange red, based on very credible, detailed information on a non-specific threat. Could it be a hijacking? Absolutely possible. Chemical or biological agent? You bet it could happen. Suicide bomber? Hey, you never know. But what we do know is that it's absolutely, positively gonna happen today, maybe.
The NFL has a history of taking money from the Department of Defense, DoD. A 2015 investigation revealed that between 2011 and 2014, 14 different NFL teams received a total of $5.4 million in taxpayer dollars from the DoD. Peter Sok wrote for the Brown Political Review. The NFL's political ties are paradoxical in the years after Colin Kaepernick's protests against police brutality, shunned and chastised for bringing politics into sports, when sports have always intersected with politics. In America, the most notable Muhammad Ali protesting his draft pick into the Vietnam War, or Tommy Smith and John Carlos' Black Power fist during the 1968 Mexico City Olympics. In 2019, Jay-Z's entertainment company, Roc Nation, partnered with the NFL for a 5-year deal. This is Sayou Cooper reporting live. Am I reporting live? But this is Sayou Cooper, editor-in-chief of the Griot's, head journalist in charge here. I hope you enjoy this episode's season premiere. If you only were able to see the behind-the-scenes work that goes into this series, I'm quite exhausted. This is the last day of editing. I'm actually panicking. But
Instagram is the best way to promote some pussy. Scary.
That hurt. It hurt a lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown and for just automatically mentally putting myself in that position. Thanks to all my peers, my friends, my family, my homies on sports television, everybody repping me. I really appreciate that. I really do. I feel like I let all of y'all down by not getting that opportunity, but I'm working on me. So thank you. Lil Wayne, aka Tunchi, Weezy F Baby, Mr. Carter, and Best Rapper Alive said in a somber video responding to the ongoing friction in the rap community about Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime announcement. America's most watched game and television broadcast would take place at the Caesar Dome in New Orleans, Lil Wayne's hometown. Rap Twitter, now X, is split between two hardened fronts, and Wayne's sizable legacy is lost somewhere in the middle. Weezy F Baby was born in the 17th ward of New Orleans, the neighborhood Holly Grove. His childhood in the 80s is one filled with poverty and trauma. America during this time is divided between opulence for the wealthy and devastation for the poor. This is Reaganomics, the crack and AIDS epidemic, and for many black men, the pipeline to mass incarceration draws closer. From an early age, Wayne's writing abilities are recognized and professionally nourished under the mentorship of Ronald Slim Williams and Brian Baby Williams. The two brothers started Cash Money Records in the 90s and along with Wayne would forever change the trajectory of rap music. Their affiliates such as Drake and Nicki Minaj are global superstars and have molded the new generation of rap. But all this wouldn't be possible without the talent and tenacity of Lil Wayne. For some, particularly young listeners, it's easy to forget how prolific Lil Wayne has been throughout his career. From 2004 to 2010, Lil Wayne released 6 albums, 7 mixtapes, 25 singles, and over 80 official guest features, and a run of unprecedented rap success. The peak of that success, 2008's The Carter 3, helped usher in a new era of mainstream dominance for the genre, selling over 1 million copies in its first week at the time, when rap and commercial music in general were both on a serious sales downswing. Complex magazine published on the 10th anniversary of The Carter 3. Your favorite rapper's GOAT is probably Tunchi. His sound and rap rockstar image can be found in Playboi Carti, Young Thug, and even alternate rappers like Tyler the Creator. But these accolades, along with vices, are also front and center. Substance abuse that lasted for years, and mental health issues that he's become more candid about. These issues are now the biggest argument for some as to why the halftime show is not his.
It's almost like being on Roc Nation and you can't get the verse. And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. You go to Rock Nation thinking you get that over.
Through your place, waving the 4 at chest plates, eyes lower than my test grades, but my flow so grammatically superb like my essays.
If you had a choice between getting paid $500,000 in cash or lunch with Jay-Z, which would you choose?
You gotta take the money. What I'm gonna say?
When news broke, Rock Nation and the NFL were partnering up, radio media personality Nessa Diab spoke out. Diab is also the longtime partner of Colin Kaepernick. While Jay-Z and the NFL alluded Kaepernick was okay with the deal, Diab notified the public that Kaepernick never spoke to Jay-Z and the NFL during the deal's negotiations, and found out about the official partnership like the rest of us. Cited from Rock Nation's official press release, the statement notes, Rock Nation will work alongside the league with artists to curate the richness of football culture nationwide. Content initiatives will include a live visual album, songs of the season original music, archive and current content from live NFL music events, and artist podcasts. The live music curation includes the Super Bowl halftime show, with Jay-Z having a significant influence on the headliner pick. Up till August 2019, Jay-Z had been an avid supporter of Kaepernick's protests. The on-field protests against police brutality led to Kaepernick's blackball in the league. He dedicated the song The Story of OJ to Kaepernick during a festival performance in 2017. He wore Kaepernick's jersey for a SNL performance that year, and spoke approvingly of Kaepernick's work consistently. So when the press rollout began for the Rock Nation NFL partnership, the consensus was shock and disappointment. But when looking at Jay-Z, the businessman, and his infatuation with white male billionaires, the deal makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's named several businesses after John D. Rockefeller, a titan of America's capitalist history. Rockefeller was highly unethical in his business practices, but his modest to riches story is enticing for Jay-Z. His friendship with Warren Buffett has been publicized through a Forbes magazine cover, and he's besties with billionaire Robert Kraft. Instead of working to dismantle the systems and institutions that have historically disenfranchised Black people in the United States, Jay-Z wants to be the Black guy led into this elite club. His pursuit of Black capitalism has always been there, but the most front and center was the 444 era, his 13th studio album from 2017, 1 minute invoking Black revolutionaries like Fred Hampton or Jean Basquiat, then engaging in business practices that are incompatible with the ideology of both men. Through this partnership with Rock Nation, the NFL effectively squashed Kaepernick's protests and media blowback. Other than some workout sessions over the years, Kaepernick has not professionally played for the league since 2017. Through a more diverse Super Bowl lineup aided by Rock Nation's management, the NFL was able to lure back viewers who were uncomfortable with Kaepernick's mistreatment and masqueraded itself as an anti-racist agent, even though they faced several major racial discrimination lawsuits in recent years. While his allies like Meek Mill touted the deal as chestnut checkers move, it's clear Jay-Z's Black approval was brought in exchange for the business success of Rock Nation, a common phenomenon in the economic theory and system of capitalism. Wealthy business elites exploit the working class for their greedy financial goals. The working class in this story are regular Black Americans, who will never amass the wealth Jay-Z has attained, but will continue to cheer him on due to the propaganda of identity politics. If one Black man makes it, surely we are all up next.
If you want it, man, your show can get it. You ain't heard it. And
young Wayne Pain, it's a shame, and you say he's a pain, he is crazy, deranged. Put the bass on the same, feel like 80 this summer, so when the sun hit it, feel like baby or something.
With Kendrick Lamar slated as the halftime performer for Super Bowl 59, viewers might be in for the most conscious performance the game has ever seen. More radical than Beyoncé's 2016 Black Panther dress-up, but a consciousness that's ultimately lacking. At its purest, Lamar's Black artistry is illuminative storytelling of a Black boy turned Black man in America's oppressive society, vexes of course at that system, but still love letters to the city of Compton and the community that raised him. But a closer look at Lamar's politics is still stuck in the Obama era of Black excellence being the solution to what Black folks need to succeed, a political mindset that still sees billionaires like Jay-Z and Dr. Dre as heroes, despite Dre having a long history of violence against women, and Hove moving in his selfish business ways. As David Dennis Jr. wrote in his article for Anscape, in 2019, Rock Nation was brought on to produce a halftime show to amplify the league's social justice efforts, according to the NFL. Yet the shows have failed to do that. Usher, and The Weeknd have all been entertaining, but the social justice message has been lost. Strictly analyzing the halftime pick from a commercial rap standpoint, this is a great career move for Kendrick Lamar, who has been dominating the rap game since April of this year, inflicting a deep wound that Drake is still struggling to recover from. And then there is the case of Lil Wayne. Due to the effects of long-term substance abuse, the rapper is not in prime performance shape. The rallying cries from the Young Money, Cash Money base is endearing, but also dubious considering Lil Wayne refused to perform on stage with the Hot Boys and affiliates of Cash Money Records for the 2024 Essence Festival, and in 2018, he finally settled his lawsuit with the label for contractual violations. Obviously, the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef is the underlying tension within this halftime announcement discourse, but it's arguably not the full story yet. Not leaning too much into the Roc Nation conspiracy theories, but Jay-Z does have substantial power in the commercial rap market right now. With the fall of Russell Simmons and Diddy, Jay-Z is the most powerful and influential hip-hop gatekeeper of the 21st century. Diddy was able to change the course of hip-hop by instigating the beef between the Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac, and one has to wonder what would be Jay-Z's impact in the long term. But like griot Andre 3000 said, y'all don't want to hear me, you just want to dance.
Yeah, he didn't give a f.
Really?
No, he was genuinely unfazed.
The sole motivating force in a capitalist society is profit, profit, profit.
On November 25th, Billboard magazine broke the story that Drake had filed a pre-action legal petition against the music corporation Universal Music Group, aka UMG.
I made music that made money, but at the end of the day, Lucian Grange still cut my music checks. As powerful as my voice is, Lucian still runs 50% of the music industry.
The November 25th petition accused UMG of violating the RICO Act to artificially boost the sales, streams, and popularity of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. A day later, Drake filed another petition, this time for a possible future defamation lawsuit against UMG. UMG owns around a 30% stake in the music industry, with both Drake and Kendrick Lamar under its contractual umbrella. For some, the implications of Drake's legal pursuit shift the original Big Three rap beef into a whole other ballpark. But for hip-hop heads like me, who've been watching the collision of hip-hop and late-stage capitalism, the red herrings have always been there. I'm Sayou Cooper, and this is The Griots, reporting on hip-hop culture through a mix of soapbox editorials, weird commercial breaks, and some very serious guests. In 2022, Drake signed a recordings, publishing, merchandise, and visual media deal with Universal Music Group. The deal came after Drake had fulfilled his album contract with Young Money Entertainment, Cash Money Records, and Republic Records. Drake and UMG began their partnership before either parties were aware of each other's existence in 1998, when UMG brought on Cash Money Records through a $30 million distribution deal. Distribution deals in the music recording industry allow artists or smaller independent labels to market their music through larger music conglomerates like UMG or Warner Music Group. The agreement allows these conglomerates to serve as the middleman between artists and music consumers. A good example from this year is Megan Thee Stallion's distribution deal with Warner Music Group. Thee Stallion retains full ownership of her masters and publishing, while Warner Music Group pushes out her music to consumers through playlisting and radio. Warner Music Group makes a profit by taking a percentage of Megan Thee Stallion's music revenue they help to market, in addition to recovering expenses. In 2009, Drake signed with Young Money Entertainment, Lil Wayne's record label, and an imprint of Cash Money Records and Republic Records. Republic Records was brought by UMG in 2000, and under this contract, Drake released 8 studio albums. Drake's old YMCM Republic contract and the newer 2022 deal with UMG are a puzzle because no respected media sources can confirm details of the actual contract. Media outlets rely on speculation and commentary from industry insiders, but most allude to Drake's 2022 deal with UMG to be around $400 million. Up to now, Drake's professional relationship with UMG was one of mutual benefit. Through UMG's quid pro quo business ties with radio and music streaming platforms, he's broken records rappers haven't done before. Of course, there's been huge commercially successful rappers like 50 Cent and Lil Wayne, but none of them have Drake's longevity. Since the release of Nothing Was the Same, his later projects always break some streaming records. Drake raps about this dominance in 2013's Paris Morton Music 2. All that happy to be here shit y'all want me on. I'm the big homie, but they still trying to little bro me, dog. Like I should fall in line. Like I should alert niggas when I'm about to drop something crazy. And not say I'm the greatest of my generation. Like I should be dressing different. Like I should be less aggressive and pessimistic. Like I should be way more nervous and less dismissive. Like I should be on my best behavior and not talk my shit.
It's very important because throughout the years, black artists have been taken advantage of completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible injustice. And like Mrs. Sharpton was saying,
a day after Drake's first petition, hip-hop journalist Rob Markman shared he was approached by a team connected to Drake's OVO to show the boy some love during the disses back and forth. Markman noted money was an offer, but instead, the whitelisting of Drake's songs and his videos and some access and information. He declined the offer.
A lot of intense meetings yesterday, getting this Thug Travis Quavo record out the door hopefully in the next day.
Drake's initial petition argued that UGM, directly or through Interscope, which has a joint venture with Kendrick Lamar's former label, TDE, also conspire with and pay currently unknown parties to use bots to artificially inflate the spread of Not Like Us and deceive consumers into believing the song was more popular than it was in reality. Bots are software programs designed to mimic human behavior to appear to be real social media accounts. This petition wasn't actually a lawsuit, but the first step in building up evidence and information requests from UGM for a possible lawsuit in the future. Going further, and cited directly from Billboard magazine, Drake's attorneys claim that UMG carried out its scheme in a variety of ways, including by charging Spotify vastly reduced licensing rates in exchange for the streamer recommending the song to users who had searched for unrelated songs and artists. Again, quoting directly from Drake's petition, Spotify is the world's most popular audio streaming subscription service. Spotify pays music companies like UMG for the right to license songs so it can play them on its streaming and subscription platforms. Going further, the petition stated, based on UMG's financial reporting, Spotify paid UMG around $2.28 billion in 2023, which amounted to 19% of UMG's total revenues in 2023. Spotify isn't the only streaming service facing participation in this RICO scheme, and Apple is also cited. Drake's petition claimed, on information and belief, UMG paid or approved payments to Apple Inc. to have its voice-activated digital assistant, Siri, purposely misdirect users to Not Like Us.
Hi Vogue, my name's Sophia Ritchie and we are here in Paris for my final wedding dress fitting. I am here with my soon-to-be mother-in-law, Lady Caroline Grange.
Sophia, I'll never let you go again.
A day later, Drake through his legal team filed a second petition for a potential defamation lawsuit against UMG, this time switching filing courts to Texas, where iHeartMedia is headquartered in San Antonio. The petition accuses iHeart of also participating in UMG's RICO scheme. The petition read, UMG and iHeartMedia have a long-standing symbiotic business relationship whereby iHeartMedia pays UMG to license and collect royalties for UMG's artist songs over radio airplay and streaming services. As demonstrated by iHeartMedia's bankruptcy filings in 2018, the amount of money exchanged between iHeartMedia and UMG is substantial. In the last quarter of 2023, UMG, through its recorded music and music publishing divisions, had an ownership interest in more than 60% of the 100 songs listed on the Billboard Hot 100 radio charts. Without its business deals with UMG, iHeartMedia will lose access to a majority of its top radio hits. Allegedly, iHeart received final payments from UMG and returned for promoting Not Like Us on radio. On the first week of its release, Not Like Us ranked first on Billboard's Hot 100 with 5 million radio airplay audience impressions. In the week that the Not Like Us music video was released, Not Like Us played on the radio an additional 40 million times. 4 months later, the iHeartRadio leaderboard reported that Not Like Us was among the top 2 songs with the most plays on iHeartRadio stations, and explained in a newsletter that it had been heard more than 25 million times across iHeartRadio's platforms alone. Drake's last Tuesday filing stated,
"The Secret Service, they're right in the door." What? Listen, the Secret Service is inside. I don't have the keys. This isn't my car.
Honey, calm down.
Oh, she's pregnant. Oh my God.
When Drake's petitions went public and spread to media outlets, Instagram blogs, and rap Twitter, the most recurring question on everybody's mind was why? What could be his motives around a reputation-damning move? Immediately, the optics were bad and in favor of his opponent, Kendrick Lamar, who released his 6th studio album, GNX, a few days earlier. For most hip-hop heads, Drake's petitions portrayed him as a sore loser in the rap battle who could not accept that the conscious messiah, Lamar, had outmaneuvered him in his own game. The game? Music industry politics. From allowing YouTubers to play his diss tracks without copyright strikes, to the pop-out concert curated by Amazon, it was clear Lamar's team at PG Lang and Interscope were aware of the cultural and business aspects of his victory lap. Some of the accusations directed at UGM and Drake's petitions are plausible, considering the long history of music corporations financially benefiting from beefs in rap music. Look at the tragic deaths of Christopher Wallace and Tupac Shakur. During Nicki Minaj's Queen era, she consistently spoke out against the use of payola and bots in rap music, criticism directed at her contemporaries like Cardi B and Travis Scott, who are both rappers obsessed with their numbers and chart placements. Drake's motives from last week's filings can be split into 2 brackets: his business relationship with Lucian Grainge's UMG and his cultural relationship with hip-hop. Arguably, at this point, it seems Drake doesn't care about either. Despite what others might be peddling, that Drake is in denial about his loss in one of the greatest rap beefs of all time, the evidence shows Drake is very hyper-aware of this loss, particularly his precarious cultural significance in rap music, a genre that was hesitant to give him the crown and conclusively said no with Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Drake's legal tactics streak more of a final FU to Kendrick Lamar and the culture who had long declared him a winner before the battle even began. The petitions in Drake's viewpoint killing 2 birds with 1 stone, forever questioning the legitimacy of Not Like Us' success and if the song can be played at Lamar's 2025 Super Bowl halftime show due to the defamation claims. Lastly, serving as a retaliation tactic against UMG's approaching monopoly of the music industry and their failure to protect their biggest asset and moneymaker. From a Rolling Stone article released shortly after Drake's petitions went public, writer Andre G. noted after talking to several legal and industry experts, the likelihood of Drake's petitions going to trial was unlikely.
Say, Drake, you know what this label is capable of.
That's right.
And likely they have used these tactics on your behalf.
The industry is, behind the scenes, they've always been against Drake.
Or he's a selfish, lying, manipulative sack of who has made enemies for 15 years.
Public-facing, a stakeholder most unaffected by Drake's petitions is Kendrick Lamar. The Compton rapper has won the lyrical and culture wars, surpassing streaming and sales numbers this year that won't eclipse Drake but narrows the margin. His 6th studio album, GNX, is on its way to having the biggest first-week sales from a rap album this year. A majority of hip-hop consumers view him favorably, and while Drake's petition split attention away from his release, hip-hop heads are still listening and enjoying the music, with the West Coast GNX tape a lighter but zealous reflection on the Big 3 battle aftermath. From his September release, Watch the Party Die, Lamar contemplated the death of hip-hop, wavering in and out of his savior complex, and a chorus that ends with, "God bless these words, dear God bless how I think. Dear God, draw the line, they try to confuse them with me. Dear God, please forgive me, you knowing how hard I tried. I think it's time to watch the party die." In 2024, Elliot Grainge became the CEO of the Atlantic Music Group. His father is Lucian Grainge, the CEO of Universal Music Group. Together, the family controls a majority stake in the music industry. Reporting from the east coast of the American Empire, I'm Sayou Cooper, and this is The Griots. I wrote and produced this episode. Our theme song for this season is Jaws by Suzuki-san. Our Instagram and other cool stuff can be found on our website. Links are always in the description. Thank you to the ancestors. Until next time.